Thank you guys for joining us. Today is the last day of our campaign trail on sexual politics. But before I go ahead with that, exactly on the 6th of August 2019, I was arrested by the Scotland Yard Counter-Terrorism Command on the allegation of terrorism. It was a very shocking experience for me because I have to experience 35 policemen, predominantly English, coming to my apartment and threatening to shut my door down if I do not open the door. And after that arrest, even while I was still being detained, being interviewed under caution, it was all over the news throughout the world that Adeyinka grandson has been arrested. And as you all know, ridiculous headline, clickbait headings. But there's one newspaper that stood the test of time, and they have always supported our movement. And then they contacted me first in 2017 to grant me an interview. They remain the only newspaper outlet that is the most reliable newspaper in Nigeria and the most widely read newspaper across West Africa. They were the only newspaper that carried the true picture of the incident that happened. And I'm very glad to this newspaper that described me as a Yoruba nationalist. We have always been saying to people that we are not activists, we're not revolutionaries, we're politicians, conservative politicians. That is how we want you to see us. But that time, the entire news press carried this news of my arrest for terrorism. But last week, when I was cleared of that allegation, when the Scotland Yard counter-terrorism dropped the allegation, believe you me, I have not read it in any national newspaper. Nobody has reported it that the Scotland Yard counter-terrorism dropped the allegations of terrorism against me. Now, for me, as the president of the Young Yoruba for Freedom, I can see the desire of the majority of the Yoruba people is to see people who are fighting for the interests of their own destroyed. It is one thing that the Yoruba nation, why we are backward. It is one of the reasons why we are poor, miserable, and wretched people in the midst of plenty. When you see Caucasians with brilliant minds, they will be supported by their people. When you see English with brilliant minds, English will always support them. But it is very common of the Yoruba nation to destroy their best mind. And I found a solution to this. We have allowed liberalism to grow for far too long. Any society where people have no sense of history, where people have no sense of self-preservation, that society can never grow. That is why Yoruba nation has 5 things that are necessary to be great nation, but we are miserable. We have a shoreline, we have abundant human resources, natural resources, we speak the same language. And there's one more thing, which I hope you will find out. Religion. We have common religion of Ifa. These 5 things are necessary for a nation to be great. Our contemporary as Yoruba people are the Japanese people, the English people, the Caucasian, the Russians, the Chinese. But we live like people in Afghanistan, people in Somalia, people in Niger Republic, people in Chad Republic, because we're horrible people ourselves. Any soul that is doing something great for the Yoruba nation, we always want that soul down. When the police were interviewing me for 9 hours on the 6th of August, they said to me that they've never seen a single Yoruba that is as bold, articulate, intelligent, and extremely fearless like me. Not the Yoruba who lives in England, who runs after £10 per hour, never came to my head, except the conservative Yoruba. Today, this horrible Yoruba who lives in England, they are all over social media, particularly on Facebook, asking for Ududua Republic. Stupid soul. I remain the only legitimate voice and the most vocal voice in Yoruba land today that is the public face for the demand for the Ududua Republic. And you cannot support me when I was wrongly arrested for terrorism by Scotland Yard Counter-Terrorism Command. If we were to compromise, I know what they're telling me at that meeting. They praise my intelligence. Yes, they do. If I were to be English, I would have finished 3 times as a prime minister of this country. If I were to be Caucasian, perhaps I would have been going for my 3rd term as a congressman. Yoruba, you destroy the best of your mind. That is why you will never be great. But our generation is here to stop that. And we are starting with the Yoruba leaders. We will confront you in your house, in your offices, wherever you are, to the Yoruba liberals and the PDP. It will be guns for gun. Because for far too long, you have shut us out of our ability to be great people. For far too long, you have destroyed the best of our minds. So now we are coming out for you. This is just a start. This sexual politics, we expected this to last for about 10, 20 campaign days. But because I have to challenge the police in court, who have accused me of using inflammatory language in 4 of my 520 videos. So we have to cut short and do 5 days because I need to prepare for my presentation in court. But let me warn you, Yoruba Libra, we know you. The majority of you are Pentecostal Christians. You go to Redeemed Christian Church of God, you go to Winners Chapels, and you go to other ridiculous, useless Pentecostal churches. That is where you go most of the time. We are going to speak truth to you because you are horrible people. You are the only set of people on this planet Earth that want to change what God Almighty has created. God Almighty was not high on marijuana to have made me and others Yoruba people. He wants us to use our innate capital to make Yoruba land great. It is only the Yoruba Libra in the Pentecostal churches that want equal rights and responsibility for everyone in Yoruba land. That is not how God created it. If God wants every one of us to be equal, there will not be Yoruba, there will not be Igbo, there will not be Hausa, there will not be Fulani, there will not be Kanuri, there will not be white, there will not be black, there will not be yellow people. What has happened to me on a personal level, it will make me to be a very difficult man, a very mean man, a very determined soul. Because police have arrested me for far too many times. Because of my ethnicity and the color of my skin. And when you do not see your own people support you, if we have power, we will be drastic in nature. We will be drastic in our attitude. And we are already drastic. Because you see the truth, you do not say it. That is one of the reasons why I have always been insisting that we must regulate Pentecostalism across Yoruba land because it is destroying the fabric of our society. It is making our people miserable. It is making our people foolish. It is making people to ask Jesus Christ, who died many years ago, who never set a foot on Yoruba land, for us to be praying to somebody who is dead for food, for healthcare, for good education, for job, for security of lives and property. We have to stop Pentecostalism, believe you me. And it has to be by force. I believe in violence. And this is my whole philosophy as a human being. If you violate me, I'll violate you back. This is one thing the Yoruba people do not learn. When people violate us, we ignore. They repeat it. We ignore it. Every now and then, we do not challenge them. We don't revenge. That is why our society is backward. That's why people are miserable. People are useless in Yoruba land. Somebody will graduate from university with no job, no prospect, and he will wake up one day and say to us that Jesus Christ has called him. He will go and open one ridiculous church. Nobody to regulate this person. But in the United States of America, you cannot become a pastor unless you have master's degree in theology. But any shit human being can wake up tomorrow and say, Jesus Christ called me. And you do not see the impact, the negative impact of this action. We have a lot of liberals in Yoruba land. I am a well-known figure. I have been very, very popular across social media since 2012. The police have no moral right, no legitimate right whatsoever to arrest me like a common criminal without Yoruba nation challenging the police. But you continuously ignore this reality. You are a horrible society. Yoruba society is backward. You will never be great if you do not have sense of self-preservation. You will never be great. It has taken us 5 days to challenge the norms, to refocus the minds of the Yoruba women, to point out the negativities of the Igbo criminal men. What we have always been saying has to do with fact, nothing but the truth. I want to say categorically today, I have never supported hostage taking in my life. When I was advising the militants in Niger Delta, you call them militant, and they tend to have accepted it. They've not forced anybody to change it. I have never for once advocated that they should take militant, they should take hostages. I've always advocated that when you are fighting for the freedom of your people, when you're trying to protect your descendant, there will be casualty, people will die. What the English police are doing to me, it will make us to also do the same thing to English national in Yoruba land. What they are doing to me is unjust, is unreasonable, it should not be acceptable. It cannot stand the test of time. It cannot stand in court. For a police to constantly arrest me 8 times of my life living in England, we would do the same thing to English national in Yoruba land. When you push people to the wall, they challenge the norms, they damn the consequences. We were born into degradation. I was in my early 20s when my elder brother was shot and killed. I was a secondary school student when my mother was arrested by the Hausa Fulani police and the Igbo police in Yoruba land because she was the president of Nubife, calling out people to strike. I was young. I was born into degradation. When I came abroad, it is the same degradation that I see. So we will apply this degradation that you have brought us to fight and defend our children's freedom. I will say to the Yoruba nation, you are horrible people. We have to be honest with ourselves. You are horrible. You are the only nation on this planet Earth that has majority population. You are the only nation on this planet Earth with the economic backbone that is treated like a minority. So this makes you terrible people. And it is not because all the Yoruba are hopeless. It is because for far too long, we have allowed liberalism to grow in Yoruba land. We have allowed people who are Yoruba to undermine the interests of another Yoruba citizen without them paying for the consequences of their action. Fulani single out Obasanjo and use him to destroy the future of our children. Nothing unto us has happened to Obasanjo. Remember Abimbola Davis, a Yoruba citizen. He was part of those who went to court with Ontol Nzeribe to ask for the annulment of June 12 election won by Abiola. Nobody did anything to this man. If an English has done that to an English citizen, he would have been killed. If a Caucasian man in the United States of America has done that to another Caucasian man, he would have been killed as well. If we're unwilling to change, we will be destroyed. In order for us not to be destroyed, we have to change our ways. Now, we'll use this opportunity to say to the police, I've never done anything against the law. You have now arrested me 8 times of my life. If you arrest me again, we are going to arrest English National in Lagos. This is our definite statement. If you arrest me again in England, there will be arrest of English National in Lagos, Yoruba land. We will show their faces. We will not release them. I have always insisted I want to leave England. People don't know this. In January 2019, I went to the court, the family court, and I requested to take my children out of this country because my son had complained that the mother has brought a black man home and he doesn't want to go back home. And I said, give me my children and I'll leave your country. The judge didn't give me my children. That is the truth. It is the same thing I experienced in Nigeria that I also experienced in England. Discrimination. So where do you expect me to run to? In Yoruba land, my best friend, who happens to be my elder brother, was shot and killed because he refused to give ordinary bribe of 20 naira to the police officers who stopped him at a traffic check. And they snuffed life out of a man that is just 31 years old. So I face discrimination in Yoruba land because of the unitary system. And I come to live in England. I am facing the same discrimination. What happened to me, if my generation refused to stop it, it will happen to my children. It has been 54 years that the entire Yoruba nation has been asking for a return to regional government. 54 years. I was not born 54 years ago. I was not born 50 years ago. I was not even born in 1966 when regional government was suspended. But here I am today, leading other young Yoruba across the globe to ask for what Awolowo requested on the 1st of May 1967, that we must go back to regional government. My generation is still asking for the same thing. My son generation would do likewise if our generation fails. We have allowed too many injustices to go on. People fight against injustice. It is those who are brilliant. It is those who are determined. It is those who are willing to die for a cause that is just to protect their own nation. These are the people that must be in leadership. So I'm saying this clearly. We're taking a decision, a conscious effort. We will take English National in Lagos if the police in this country dare to arrest me again. We will arrest English National in Lagos. There's so much wealth in Yoruba land. I sat down before coming to do this lecture. When I left university, I was employed with Corn Oil in my early 20s. Then I decided to change job, and I was employed with Standard Chartered Bank. I ended up with financial derivative, taking 300,000 naira per month. That was my salary. Because my employer wanted to use my brain. I was the one writing for Eurasia Report, writing for Europe and Russia, as well as Asia, report about Nigeria, so that investors can come to invest. I found myself in a country I never desired to live in because of healthcare. And I thought about when my sister called me one day and she was crying, Adeyinka, operation for we need money. Your me donate to. And we have so much wealth. in Yoruba land. She was asking me for donation towards her daughter's operation. We're going to go to war, folks. We want to fight. Believe you me, it is enough. We will not allow this injustice to continue. And we are appealing to Yoruba women. Wọ́n ní tọ́lúwa bá fò tá ẹni hàn ni kò lè pa ni. Tọ́lúwa bá fò tá ẹni hàn ni kò lè pa ni. Igbo nation is the number one enemy of the Yoruba nation. The Fulani are not our number one enemy. Fulani took advantage of the suspension of the regional government. Fulani are not Yoruba enemy. They are not our enemy. If you take the presidency, Fulani will hit from her palms. It is the Igbo people that are the number one enemy of the Yoruba nation. And they have perpetrated this for so long. We have been exposing the atrocity against the Yoruba nation. And we are calling on Yoruba women as the fabric of our society. They have to stop opening their legs to Igbo men. You must cease all sexual and marital relationship with Igbo men. We're not the only first people to do that. In Germany, they are stopping their women from getting married to black men. It is nothing to do with racism. It is actually self-preservation to protect your own interests. Igbo have decided to use intermarriages as a weapon to suppress, subjugate, and dominate the Yoruba nation. And if we do not stop Yoruba women from getting married to these horrible people, our civilization is going to be destroyed in our lifetime. I've taken too much time to speak about my experience in England in the hands of their police. And I'm not making a joke. Believe you me, when I make a statement, it has always been a conscious statement. We made a statement as regards the office of Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò about 2 months ago. There has been a response yesterday. If I have the time, I will speak on that response. But there are two demands that we made of the office of Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò. We will undermine that office if he continues not to speak out against the criminality of the Igbo. If he continues to use his personal differences against Tinubu to undermine and jeopardize the national interest of the Yoruba nation. He spoke out about these two yesterday, Iba Gani Adam. For the first time since he became Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò, he spoke out against Igbo criminality because we make a demand of it. We are speaking for the Yoruba nation. If you think that this is a joke, you don't know how God Almighty works. He brings out somebody that you least expected to free a nation. I don't have the wisdom of Aulo. I do not have the wealth of Abiola. But what the young Yoruba for Freedom has done in the last 80 years, it has changed the course of history across Yoruba land. Our target is 2023. We will take the rulership of Nigeria. We will take their presidency. We will bring Nigeria back to regional government or break it apart. So Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò responded yesterday. And I'm using this opportunity because I know so many people will watch me because this is the last day. I'm challenging the English establishment. If you arrest me again, you have arrested me for 8 times. If you arrest me again, there will be an equal arrest of English national in Lagos. We will arrest English citizens because you work in our oil and gas in Yoruba land. We have crude oil in Lagos. We have crude oil in Ogun. We have crude oil in Ondo. We have crude oil in Ishekri land. English are working there. You are not cleaning our toilet the way we do here in England. English are the one in charge of our financial and capital market. You control our stock exchange because Sanusi Lamido Sanusi sold it to you. You are the concessionary in charge of our ports in Yoruba land, not in Nigeria. You have Guinness Nigerian PLC. You have Standard Chartered Bank. You have PricewaterhouseCoopers. You have Cadbury. We know all your businesses. It's not as if you are doing us a favor. I have had enough of your arrest. And I've been saying, and has been very clear, the only thing you can do to me is to give me a paper and ask me to leave United Kingdom. Believe you me, I will leave, but not to Nigeria, because Fulani will arrest me. I have had enough of your arrest. It is 8 times. And I'm using this opportunity to speak against it. If you dare to arrest me again, I will make sure, with the instruction that we have already given to our members, there will be arrest of English nationals in Yoruba land. When the Russians were alleged to have used chemical weapon to kill a Russian citizen in England, diplomatic relationship was severe between Russia and the United Kingdom. It was legitimate action for the United Kingdom to do that. I am a voice for the Yoruba nation. You can no longer arrest me like a common criminal. If you do, your national in my country will arrest them. I've had enough. I think about my children every day. This is not the kind of country that I want for my children to live in. There's so many black kids in your country with no father. My children have been exposed to another man who has 2 criminal convictions when I cannot see to raise them. You push us into degradation, and it is you that will pay for the consequences of what we're going to do. So I use this opportunity to say, believe you me, we want to go to war. We have had enough. A young man I saw my mother arrested by police and put in police cell because she was the president of Nubife. I saw my elder brother shot and killed in Yoruba land. I come to live in England and I get arrested by police every time. I get to face discrimination in everything that I do. You think I will not stand the test of time to defend the civilization of my homeland? You think I will not stand the test of time to defend my descendants, my children? When I live in England, I see black kids don't have fathers. I see them going into knife crime, selling drugs. I see black girls getting into prostitution, living in deprived community, living in housing estate where they sell drugs, they do prostitution. This is not the kind of nature. This is not the kind of life that I want for my kids. No, this is not. I'm a Yoruba prince. So folks, I may have spoken enough about this. Today, I got delayed because I have to write something about my children. It's a pain in my heart that I have to struggle to try to get my kids back. That's why we're delayed. We're supposed to start 3 o'clock because it's a family issue. I have to take my time. I'm writing all of this thing, thinking about my kids were taken away from me, thinking about the fact that so many black kids have no father in this country, thinking about a Kafka's that allows somebody with a criminal conviction to live in my children's home, not in his own home, to live with my kids. And I'm saying, I don't want this. The kind of politics I do is too dangerous for my children to live with a man that I do not know his identity. I don't want this. And they continue to hide this guy's identity from me. To God who created me. If the police should arrest me another time in this country, there will be arrest of English national in Yoruba land. I have now had enough of your arrest. 8 consecutive arrests is madness. If you do not stop it, believe you me, you will think that we will not be able to do this. I made a conscious effort to speak out because today I have to write and request the custody of my kids after the allegation of terrorism has been dropped. It's a pain in my heart. I don't want to live in this society. This is not the kind of society I want to raise my children. I want to raise my children in Yoruba. I want to raise my children either under a parliamentary system that is based on regional government in which we can all manage our respective space, or under the Oduduwa Republic. No father should live in a society that denies him his right to raise his children. England is horrible for that. When it comes to black people, they deny black kids the right to be raised by their father. And they expose these black children to horrible stepfathers, to stupid stepmothers, who then destroy the life of these kids. And they would think I'm making a joke. And whatever I say, we say, believe me, we practicalize it. If the English police will arrest me another time, there will be equal arrest of English national and Yoruba land. I've said to them in 2019, I want to leave. I can't condone this arrest any longer. But they are refusing because the family court refused me to take my children out of the country. They may say that they have the legitimate right to do so. But I don't want that kind of system. We want better system for our children. We cannot allow so many Yoruba children that are born in England. Believe you me, they are horrible. We cannot even use them to grow the economy of Yoruba land because majority of them are living shit life with no father figure. So if you look at that, with what the Igbo men are doing in Yoruba land, Yoruba women, it is the same damage that you face abroad that is currently ongoing in Yoruba land. The same damage. The Igbo men are trooping into Yoruba land to essentially get married to you in order to populate Yoruba land with their offspring, in order to then use their children to suppress, subjugate, and dominate us. And they have been able to do this. You will see across Yoruba land, Igbo, full-blooded Igbo, who are elected in our parliaments. But you will never see a full-blooded Yoruba elected in any Igbo parliament in their 5 states. You will see half Yoruba, half Igbo, as I've been told in those states, who are in our parliaments. But you will never see half Yoruba, half Igbo in Igbo parliaments. So what we have decided to do from 2023, we will send half Yoruba, half Igbo with Yoruba mothers. We're going to send all of them to go and contest election and take over the governance of Igbo land. If you, Igbo, will not allow them to do that, you will know that we will deal with you squarely and legitimately across Yoruba land. So to Yoruba women, Igbo have always rejected any Yoruba citizen whatsoever who strives to make Yoruba land great. Every time they do that, they call Awolowo a tribalist, but Awolowo was actually a nationalist. Awolowo, throughout his lifetime, he fought for the interests of the Yoruba nation. He worked to safeguard the welfare of the Yoruba nation. Yoruba is not a tribe. I'm an Akoko Yoruba. Akoko is a tribe of the Yoruba nation. Yoruba is a nation. So Awolowo was not a tribalist. He was a nationalist, a Yoruba nationalist. The Igbo rejected him because he was pro-Yoruba during his lifetime. When Abiola was alive, I'm saying this to Yoruba women who are opening their legs for Igbo criminals. When Abiola was alive, he gave money to everybody in Nigeria. He was building hospitals across Nigeria. There was no exception to how he was spending his money. He spent equal amount of money in Yoruba land as much as he spent in Igbo land. He gave everybody across Nigeria equal treatment, which I would consider to be very foolish, because I would never treat any other child special other than my own child. That is self-preservation. But Abiola treated everybody equally, because we have this stupid notion that Yoruba people are accommodating. But what did he get? Igbo called him an Islamist. They spread fake propaganda against this man. And I read it when I was young. They said that he ensured a shipload of Holy Bible got signed because he doesn't want anybody to read the Bible. That was a lie. Abiola went to a Christian school. He couldn't have possibly done that. But that was the propaganda that was spread against this man by the Igbo people. They call him an Islamist. A normal word for a terrorist. That was how they described Abiola. They did not vote for him. The same way they rejected Awolowo and did not vote for him, they rejected Abiola. When it was the turn of Olufalaye, the Nadeko people who fought then, they were killed by Fulani who were in the military, in the police, as well as the Igbo. But Nadeko fought for the interests of Abiola. Nadeko fought for the Yoruba nation. After Abiola was assassinated by the Fulani, then an election was called for. And everybody agrees that Olufalaye should be the presidential candidate who will take the mandate of Abiola. That was when the Igbo started their propaganda against this man, saying that because he worked as the secretary to the military government of Babangida, he has no right to want to be a civilian president. They call him a militarist. They said people should not vote for him. But they gave their vote to Obasanjo, who was actually a military guy, who had been a military head of state, who participated in writing the shit presidential system constitution that we're currently using. He first did it in 1978. I told you this yesterday. Igbo voted for him. Olufalaye was pro-Yoruba to the core. Even while he was a secretary to the military government, he was making sure that the Yoruba were not killed. He was doing everything within his capacity to protect his homeland. It is simply because Olufalaye was pro-Yoruba to the core. That was why Igbo rejected him. So I'm saying to Yoruba women who are opening their legs to these horrible criminals, these are people who hate your leaders. These are people who hate your people. You have children with them. They don't love you. They will never love your child. But they want to spread their seed in Yoruba land in order to use these children in future to dominate us politically. That is their clear intention. So if you support these people, you allow them to have sex with you, you allow them to get married to you, you are destroying, you are invariably contributing to the destruction of your father's land, Yoruba land. Today, what do you see the same Igbo doing? They are all out for one man only, Tinubu. They said to everybody that he's corrupt. Tinubu has never been governor of any Igbo-speaking area in his entire lifetime. Tinubu has never been any elected politician in Igbo land. Tinubu and Orji Uzor Kalu became governor at about the same time. Orji Uzor Kalu just is in prison right now. Tinubu did so much, excellently well for the Yoruba nation. He's not an Igbo man. He has never governed an inch of Igbo space. But every now and then, they spread propaganda against this man. Simply because Tinubu is pro-Yoruba. So Yoruba women are people that do hate your own leader. It is like getting married to a man who disrespects your father. It was yesterday that I was listening to Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò interview when he said categorically that Okonjo-Iweala, the former Minister of Finance, under Obasanjo and under Jonathan, actually described Yoruba as Amala people. Are people that can hate our food. They will never love you. The other time I was telling you how the Igbo describe us as Ofema Anu people because we use palm oil for our stew, for our soup, and for our cooking. People who hate food can never love you. So the caliber of Okonjo-Iweala could address the Yoruba people as Amala people. See the kind of deep-seated hatred these people have for your space. And if you continue to marry them, Yoruba women, I can guarantee you one thing. I made a statement. I'm conscious of what I say. Believe you me, we will undermine your children in Yoruba land. You will live to regret your action in your old age when your children shall face discrimination. I spoke about the 38 parallel line that led to the division of the whole Korea into partly South Korea and North Korea. If you think Nigeria is going to remain forever, you are joking. Nigeria is not going to last forever. It will eventually break. It is the English who are using the Fulani to keep Nigeria as one. The Igbo internally vote for Fulani. The English give Fulani weapon, military weapon, to suppress the Yoruba. But I assure you one thing, we will get the support of the United States. Imagine if the CIA had not supported me. I could have been charged for terrorism today. See, America is a just society. It's a just country. The Caucasian are reasonable people. That's why I'm appealing to the leadership of the Yoruba nation. We need allies. We need to go back and negotiate with the good people of Israel. We need to go back and talk to President Trump. We need to approach the Federative Republic of Brazil. We need to go and talk to these our allies. We need to speak to Portugal. They've always been selling weapons to us whenever we want to fight the English. We're not pleading with Yoruba women. We're instructing you. You will jeopardize the future of your children in your old age. You will regret that you married to Igbo. They hate us. The only reason why they hated Awolowo was because Awolowo stopped them from dominating us. They wanted to control Lagos. The only reason why they hated Abiola is because Abiola used his newspaper to stop the Igbo from dominating us. The only reason why they hated Olufalaye was because Olufalaye was pro-Yoruba to the core. They are hating Tinubu because it is only Tinubu that is stopping them from controlling Lagos. It is their desire. Fulani has never called Lagos no man's land. Kanuri people have never called Lagos no man's land. Nupe people, they have never called our space no man's land. You cannot hear the thief people calling our space no man's land. You can never hear the Ijaw people saying the same. But recently, with the propaganda of the Igbo, the stupid Edo people are calling Lagos no man's land. And they will pay for the consequences of their stupid action. All of them are now fighting. These are the people, if I show you WhatsApp messages that I've received from my Ijaw friend who are militant, they are always very helpful to me anyway. You see, they are all fighting Igbo now. They say, grandson, you're speaking the truth. Grandson, you're right all the time. I'm always right because we do research and we do not lie. We are not propagandists like the Igbo. They hate Tinubu because it is only this man who stood the test of time and stopped Igbo people from controlling Lagos. We're serious about our statement. From 2023, the governors in Igbo land will be half Yoruba, half Igbo. We are sending them as our representative, like colonial officers, like Ajele. We will send them to your space. If you dare to reject them, you will never get into Yoruba land. And no Igbo will ever amount to anything politically in Yoruba land. No. Our accommodating nature is not that we are good. We're just stupid people. How can you accommodate people who want to destroy you? How can you accommodate minority to suppress and subjugate you? They want to take over Yoruba land and Tinubu is their stumbling block. There was never a time in history. Go and read the history. There was never a time in history in Yoruba land that a Fulani represented us as a legislator. There was never a time. Fulani will not come into our space to say they want to contest for election. It has always been Igbo people who want to contest for election in Yoruba land. We don't contest election in their space, but that is changing in 2023. We are going to send all these half Igbo, half Yoruba back to their father's land to go and contest for election. Fulani do not. But this is the Igbo who are coming. They took over everything that we have. They took over our beautiful party, NCNC, and turned it into Igbo party in 1949. They attempted to take over the Yoruba Western Region Legislative Assembly in 1951 before Awolowo checkmated them. And they hated him for that. I like to tell history. Sometimes I do tell story and I use colorful language. In 1951, it was my grandfather who spoke at the Western Region Legislative Assembly. He was a king. He said something to the Yoruba nation. Odò tó bá tójú ẹni kún, ẹ̀yìn ẹni ló ti ń gbẹ. That tí wọn ò bá support Awólọ́wọ̀ kó jẹ premier, ilẹ̀ Yorùbá máa bàjẹ́. It is the blood that is running in me today. That statement ensures that Awólọ́wọ̀ became our first prime minister. In 1954, Igbo started calling Lagos no man's land. 1954. So the strategy they have to destroy us now is intermarriages. They want to continue to sleep with our girls. Did you notice that when the Yoruba conservatives started calling out Yoruba women not to marry Igbo men, have you ever heard of the Igbo men saying the same thing to their girls? Saying that Igbo women should not marry Yoruba men. Did you hear them? No! Because it is their ulterior motive, their innate desire to use intermarriages to destroy Yoruba land. We spoke about a research that pointed out the fact that the higher intermarriages you have, the lower your ability to speak with one voice. So Fulani are smart. They marry within themselves. That is why they continue to suppress and dominate other people. In 1962, it was an Igbo member of the Yoruba Western Region Legislative Assembly by the name of Mr. Emeka Ebubedike from Ozubulu in Anambra State. He represented Ajeromi, Ifelodun, Badagry East in Yoruba land, an Igbo. You don't see Fulani wanting to win election in Yoruba land. They do not, they have never contested for election. Fulani people. It's always been Igbo. And they won election, Igbo people. So this guy, he was the one who took the mace. He seized the mace, the symbol of authority at the assembly, and used it to break somebody's head. Because of his action, which was deliberate, so that Zik, who controls the federal government with his friend Balewa, who connived together and declare a state of emergency in Yoruba land in 1962. Deliberate. When you put a foreigner in your assembly, in your parliament, they destroy you. If we were only Yoruba people, nobody would have taken the mace because of an argument at the parliament to break somebody's head. Mr. Ebubedike did that intentionally because he was Igbo man. Folks, a state of emergency was declared in 1962. My Mallory and Chukuma Eziogu were ordered by Zik and Balewa to kill anybody that is Yoruba. Go and read the history. Over 14,528 Yoruba children, women, and men were killed between 1962 and 1964. This led to warfare. When you allow foreigners to get into your governance, they are going to destroy your nation. I told you yesterday, I've been living in England for quite a while. I've never seen one English as a terrorist. I have seen British passport holders born in Britain who have detonated bombs to kill everybody in Britain because this is not their homeland. So when you allow foreigners to get into your leadership, political leadership, when you allow foreigners to move into your space unregulated, when you allow foreigners to dominate your sphere, they are going to destroy you. But we have one good news. Our generation is going to stop this nonsense with the use of chemical and biological weapons. You continue to undermine us. You're shaking because of Ebola. You were shaking because of coronavirus. We've been saying since 2012 that this is the weapon of choice for the Yoruba nation because Fulani controls our waterways. They use our port to bring in weapons. They have stockpiled weapons in Hausa Fulani land, ready to use them against the Yoruba nation. If we have common sense, we will go to laboratory and produce viruses to fight and defend Yoruba civilization too. That was what Mr. Ebubedike did, deliberately to cause a state of emergency. And a Yoruba woman with no sense of history, with no sense of self-preservation, you continue to open your leg to these people to ravage your body so that they can destroy Yoruba civilization. It is your children's future that you will jeopardize. In 1963, it was Zik who encouraged Balewa to put Awolowo in prison. That man was jailed for 10 years. Awolowo never for once advocated for organized violence. That was why they treated him like a common criminal. They destroyed that guy's brain. A very intelligent soul for that. God made him specifically to change Yoruba land for better. They destroy his brain because he does not believe in organized violence. So, folks, let us be realistic. If you try to destroy America, they will get weapons to destroy it. That was why they went to Iran. That was why they went and killed Gaddafi. And they don't pretend about their desire. That was why they were after so many people. It is only a foolish nation that they will be killed, they will be attacked, their leaders will be decimated, and they will not revenge. We are no longer stupid. Our parent generation were horrible people. Zik ensured that Awolowo was put in prison. Look, let me tell you something about the beauty of the English colonial talks. Folks, we don't call them colonial master. It is our parent generation that were using those stupid words. Colonial master, somebody who came to your space, killed your people, took over your governance, took over your resources. You call them colonial master. They were talks. And we can even call them terrorists too. But let me say something to you. When the English were with us, from 1851 to 1951, they did not put Awolowo in prison. Awolowo was a very young man. He started politics at the age of 23. That was when he was first elected. 23 years old. The English did not put him in prison for 1 minute. But when Balewa, Fulani, and Zik, Igbo, when they took over power in 1960, under 2 years, they already put Awolowo in prison. These are black people. Some stupid people will say we are practicing Pan-Africanism. When the white English were there, they did not put Awolowo in prison. But when these horrible black people, Igbo and Fulani, when they took power in 1960, they already put Awolowo under house arrest by 1962, and they jailed him 10 years imprisonment by 1963. You're telling me Pan-Africanism, black power. I'm going to address Shehu Kuti later if I have the time, but I'll prepare for him anyway. So you see, Yoruba women, these people don't like you. If they marry you, it is part of their strategies that they have planned from their space to sleep with Yoruba women. Get them pregnant deliberately so that they can spread their seed. They are not willing to take care of the children. They just give the child an Igbo name and move on to another woman. Move on and spread their seed in Yoruba land so that liberalism can be growing. When a child is Igbo, the mother is Yoruba, his loyalty is divided. His loyalty is divided. That is what the Igbo nation wants for us. And we are going to solve this problem by force. I don't believe in negotiation when the other party does not believe in negotiation. If you are using intermarriages as a strategy to destroy my nation, I must be ready to use violence to destroy you and defend my nation. So we will shame Yoruba women across our university, which we have told a number of student leaders. Any Yoruba lady in any of our universities, polytechnic, and colleges of education seen with an Igbo man, she will be shamed, and such an Igbo man will be attacked. We don't want you to get involved with our women any longer. They are our precious diamond, and we want to protect their interests now. They are the fabric of our society. So the Igbo have always desired to undermine and interfere in our political affairs because of the useless Yoruba leader. Their expansionist agenda has gained tandem with the mass migration of Igbo to Lagos. It is a weapon of war. You see, when I watched Ariel Nakakamfo video yesterday, interview yesterday, and I concluded that, look, I don't think Ariel Nakakamfo still understands psychological warfare. Igbo and Fulani are using psychological warfare on us. Ariel Nakakamfo was saying that Fulani will not give up power. You know that already. So what is your backup plan? Who says to you that Fulani will not give up power? They are minority. And Ariel Nakakamfo is saying that Fulani has the backing of the English. Yeah, we have exposed that to everybody in Nigeria, and particularly the Yoruba nation. Now, why don't you reach out to the United States of America? Why is the Yoruba not reaching out to Israel so that we have their backbone too? He doesn't understand psychological warfare. The mass migration of the Igbo into Yoruba land is a declaration of war. Why did you think that the English left the EU? Aside the fact that there's so many people trooping into their space from Eastern Europe to do crime, apart from the fact that immigration was a big issue in the EU, two nations control the EU. People who attest to it, France and Germany. They have relegated England to the back. Even ordinary Greece has some leverage better than England. Republic of Ireland is a voice in the EU better than England. So the English left because they could not control the EU. That is it. So when Ariel Nakakamfo says in his interview that the English are still powerful, I just laugh. No, they are no longer a powerful force to reckon with. No, they are no more. And I've challenged people who think that because English are white, the Caucasian in America are white, that we cannot negotiate with America. And I've challenged people. And when we make a statement, we've done our extensive research. No English national has ever been president of the United States since the head of the revolution that chased away the English from power. When you chase a people from power, you don't give them back power. That is the reason why Fulani who chased Igbo out of power in 1966 July have refused to give power back to Igbo or even to Yoruba. They only look for a compromised Yoruba person like Obasanjo. That is the reason why they are trying to bring this guy that we're going to fucking beat and tear him naked, Tunde Bakari, because you are Fulani. You are not Yoruba. Yes, we respect the fact that your mother is Yoruba, but you have made your statement very clear. In 2014, you said you are not for Yoruba interest. So we don't like you. You have to go and be the prime minister of Hausa Fulani land because your father is from Sokoto. That is the truth. It was when I exposed this that he went onto Wikipedia and tried to edit it, saying, I don't know where my father is from. No, your father is a Fulani man from Sokoto. So you don't take power from a people that are subjugating you and give them back. Go and read the history. I want people to make statement if I'm lying. No English has ever been the president of the United States of America since the English were chased out of power. You don't chase out somebody from power and then hand over presidency to. So when Ariel Nakakamfo says that English and America, because they are both white, we can't negotiate with them, it's not right. It's not. So the mass migration of the Igbo into Yoruba land is actually a declaration of war. Look at the Igbo, they are stopping the Almajiri from coming to their space. They have written a letter to the UN saying that Almajiri coming to their space is a declaration of war. But these guys trooping into our space every day. So they have one purpose in mind, to dominate us. That is why, since we started this lecture on day one Emmanuel Chibuzo, who is close to Femi Fani-Kayode, released a video saying that I'm going to be attacked. I no longer believe that anyway, because the police here, even though I've spoken bad about them in the beginning of this video, because I'm frustrated about what I have to do in respect of my children today, I'm very, very unhappy about that attitude. But they still give me some protection now. And after next week that I'm done with it, case in court, we're going to release the name of somebody that we now know who is trying to kill me. And we're going to release that name to the public. We're going to shame a lot of people, and we're going to deal with the situation. So it is actually a declaration of war when they troop into our space. But they don't want Almajiri to come into Ebola. So you sense it, Yoruba women. When they sleep with you, it is part of their strategy to infiltrate our political leadership, to populate our space with their children in order to dominate us. So if you open your legs for them, it is you and your children that will suffer the consequences now and in the future. My friend, when I was discussing over the phone with her today, she was telling me that, grandson, I watched the video about sexual politics. What you are saying is actually true, because majority of black people prefer to be married to black people. Majority of white people prefer to be married to white people. So it makes sense that the majority of the Yoruba should really marry Yoruba people. Do we condemn Kanuri people? Do we condemn Nupe people? Do we condemn Yoruba in Togo, Yoruba in Benin Republic? No. Our focus and attention is on the Igbo, because they are the number one enemy of the Yoruba nation. And if we do not stop these animals, believe you me, they will make life difficult for our children. Some people are so foolish in Yoruba, and they think because they have children abroad, oh, my son, my daughter, they have British passport. It's useless. I have a cousin. Her father is English. Her mother is actually Yoruba. She doesn't like to live in England because she faces discrimination. She wants to come to Yoruba. She said to me, grandson, when I get to Abuja, they call me Oyibo. And the moment I started speaking Yoruba, they are so happy. Because Yoruba, we are very accommodating, right? That is it. But here in England, she faces hell, challenges. It is nothing to do with racism. It is to do with self-preservation. If we continue to allow the mass migration of the Igbo into Yoruba land, it will destroy our civilization in our lifetime. So the mass migration of the Igbo into Yoruba land is a declaration of war. And we are going to end this through organized violence. You know how long that the Igbo have represented Oshodi Solo Federal Constituency before we took that place from them in 2019? They represented that constituency for well over 16 years. How many constituencies are we controlling in Igbo land as Yoruba people? Now I'm asking you a question, stupid Yoruba women opening their legs for Igbo. And you have children with them. Why is it that they won't allow your children that you had with Igbo men to be the representative, senators, House of Representative member in Igbo land? Why? Because their strategy is to suppress you, Yoruba, through our women. And we are out now to protect these women. That's why I'm challenging the Igbo. You can never see the Igbo people using social media to say that Igbo women should not marry Yoruba men. They won't say that because they have a strategy to suppress you through intermarriages. So it is now left for us to discriminate against Yoruba women married to Igbo men. It took the involvement of Tinubu and MC Oluomo to checkmate the Igbo in Oshodi Solo Federal Constituency 2-1 in 2019. It is part of the reason that they are out with propaganda against him. So Igbo people are the number one enemy of the Yoruba nation. Don't fall for the gimmick of the stupid and crazy and do nothing Yoruba liberals telling you Fulani are our number one enemy. How do you find out who is your number one enemy? Why is it that the Igbo voted for Atiku in 2019? Why? Why not give the ticket to Fayose, a Yoruba? If Fayose had obtained the ticket of the PDP, he would perhaps be the president of Nigeria today, because Yoruba will vote for their son. But Igbo went and voted for Atiku. They tell you, oh, our son is his deputy. It's a lie. They've always been voting for Fulani since 1959. So they vote for Fulani in every election. But Yoruba will say, we are very accommodating. You are horrible. You're just stupid society, illiterate society. You have a lecture. And look, Buhari chief of staff is a Fulani. Buhari, oh, they are controlling NNPC. Fulani are controlling NNPC. Ayewa, Fulani are controlling port. Ayewa, Fulani are controlling everywhere. It is because you are in the presidency. If you put your son there, Yoruba will control everything too. Yeah, Yoruba will control everything. Why is it that the Igbo have never supported Yoruba to be president of Nigeria? Obasanjo is not a Yoruba man. They are your enemy, your number one enemy. Yeah. So you go and marry your enemy. It's pathetic for you. So Igbo intention is expansionist, land grabber. They are criminally minded and they must be stopped. They must be stopped. They hate us. So we're appealing to Yoruba women. Actually, we're instructing you. You stop getting married to Igbo men. Stop all sexual relationship and marital relationship with Igbo men. If you do not, you think Nigeria will continue to be a going concern. You are going to be shocked by the time that this country will break. You will be shocked. You will see. If you marry your hater, it's pathetic. The same people, look at me now. I live in England. I have relative peace of mind. Let's forget about this shit that the police have done to me in this country. I have relative peace of mind. I have electricity. I have internet. I have good health care. Everything is paid for through taxes anyway. But they are available, right? Then I sit down and said, oh, English are cowards. English are lazy. I live in their country. And I said to them, they are lazy. They don't want to work. They don't want to do this. I came to their country. You see horrible Igbo. Half of their population live in Yoruba land. They are not living in their shit erosion ravaged space. They tell us that we are lazy. They say to us that we are cowards. People who are living in our space. It is like Yoruba in America saying, oh, the Caucasian are shit people. They are lazy. It's the same thing the Igbo are saying in South Africa, saying that South African people are lazy. South African people are not living in Igbo land. Very soon they will be telling you that the Chinese are lazy. These are illiterate set of people who lack human capital. People who cannot grow the economy of their own space. They are calling other people lazy. When you live in other people's homeland, we have allowed unity system to give unmerited power, access to Yoruba land by the Igbo. So folks, let me repeat this. The largest exporters of weapons in the world is the United States. The second largest exporter of weapons in the world is England. Fulani has the backing of the second largest exporter of weapons. You and I will continue to talk nonsense till their kingdom come if we do not get the support of the United States of America, the largest exporter of weapons. Bible doesn't save life when it comes to war. No. You need allies, friends. That is what it is. You need people that can support you. So if we must get power in 2023, we must negotiate with the United States of America. And I say one thing. If we blow up Apapa Wharf and think apart, it will not be functional for about 5 years. So what do? We take it after the war. We bring in American companies, Israeli companies to help us to rebuild it. When they rebuild it with their money, not our money. So we are now going to be indebted to them. Now let's give it a figure, say $100 million. It's going to be more than that, I'm just giving you the figure. So we are going to be indebted to a tune of $100 million. So how do we repay them back? We charge Middle Belt, Hausa Fulani, Kanuri, Niger Republic, and Chad Republic. We charge them for the use of our port to clear their goods, and we pay back America. It makes sense. So if we get weapons from America, it's the same thing. We go to war and defeat Hausa Fulani because America will give us the backbone. We share part of our wealth with them. We said, okay, take this 10% of our wealth. It makes sense. But what do you have now? Fulani with the backing of the English, still 100% of your wealth in Yoruba land. So every month they give you monthly allocation, security vote, constituency allowance. That amounts to only 8% of your wealth, Yoruba. So Fulani are actually stealing 92% of your wealth. So if you are very reasonable, you have common sense, you go to the United States of America, the largest exporter of weapons, you give them 10% of your wealth. They will help you to secure the remaining 90%. So it makes sense. Rather than for us to continue to manage this 8% of our wealth, we have no good healthcare. There's not even tap water. There's not even good roads. Because Fulani are stealing our wealth. We negotiate with America, we sign agreement, boom, they help us because they are the most powerful on earth. Fulani has no power. They are being supported by the English. So this is just a reminder to Yoruba women. And to those who are always saying, oh, we cannot fight Hausa, Fulani, and Igbo together, idiots. Currently, Fulani will overrun the entire Yoruba land, can kill all of you. That is the truth, because they have the backing of the English. But let me tell you, how did you think that the Israel defeated 7 or 9 different countries in 7 days? Yeah, they defeated because they have the backing of the United States of America. So you expect Yoruba to go and challenge Fulani and Igbo at the same time without a ally? Idiots. You first get your friend. Ajá tó bá lẹ́ni lẹ́yìn ló ń pọ̀ bọ̀. Kì í ṣọ̀rọ̀ Jésù, kì í ṣọ̀rọ̀ Muhammad, kò help yín. Fake ní gbogbo ẹ̀. Àwọn Pentecostal yẹn kàn fi ń gbá yín ni. Ẹ̀yin obìnrin náà lè náà fi ń gbá. Wọ́n tún gbá yín, wọ́n tún bá yín sùn. But we're going to regulate all of those horrible people. Àwọn tó máa dàbọn bò lẹ́sẹ̀ tó máa sá ẹjọ́ wọ́n lè sọ pé àwọn ní Jésù wọn láwọn ní Bible. Ẹlòmíà máa gbàdúrà sínú omi, á ní kó máa fomi wẹ̀ pé ayé ẹ̀ máa dá. Ọba pé kí ni gbogbo ojú títì ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ṣe dọ̀tí ò ṣe lọ gbàdúrà sí Jésù kí gbogbo ojú títì yín kó dẹ̀ descend lọ kí iṣẹ́ dẹ̀ wà lọ rẹpẹtẹ nítorí yín ti dàrú. So folks, to the Yoruba women, and I've addressed those people who say, no, we can't fight Igbo and Hausa Fulani. We have thought about the whole thing. If we do not get the support of America, they messed us up. But if we get the support of America, even Fulani will not fight. They will give up and say, let us go back to regional government. And Adeyinka Kakanfo said it yesterday in his interview. He predicted it. He said, oh, look, with the noise that is going on around Oduduwa Republic, Fulani will just come. You know, it is English that are advising Fulani. Don't think it is not Fulani. Fulani don't have brain. English control them. English will just say, there's too much pressure about this Oduduwa Republic. Give them something. They will just say, oh, we are going back to regional government and give you shit thing. And they will come to rule you. Kò lè possible mọ̀ sẹ́. Ibi tójú ti làdé, ikú la máa fi pa àwọn Fulani àti Igbo. A máa pa wọ́n gan ni. And if you watch serial killer, which I've watched the video, people continue to say, let us change this thing. Let us change this thing. You continue to kill them. You continue to kill them. You continue to kill them. This is injustice. You continue to arrest them. You continue to arrest them. A generation will just spring up. Boom. It will shock everybody. Look at the kind of thing that we are saying. Look at the kind of information that we're pushing out. Because we've had enough. We've been pushed to the wall. So the only option is organized violence, and we are going to do it. A lot of people are going to die in Nigeria because this generation of Yoruba will fight the last man. So Yoruba women, if you see an Israeli Jewish with a child with an Arab father, you know the Israeli and Arab, they're always at loggerheads. They're always fighting war. They've been fighting for years, for generations. Look, the Scottish and English, they have always been fighting each other. All of these things that we're doing with Igbo, we have never had an agreement with these Igbo people. We don't like them. So if you have an Israeli mother who married an Arab father, and they had a child, an Arab mother, they had a child, that child will never the Prime Minister of the State of Israel. That child would never. It's an Arab man. So what do you think his policy will be? His policy will be to protect Palestinians, for instance. His policy will be to work with Iran, who have always been calling for the destruction of Israel. So you think the Israeli will jeopardize the future? But because Yoruba is an illiterate society, they have seen how Igbo abuses Awolowo, how they condemn Abiola, how they treated Farai, what they are calling Tinubu. Stupid Yoruba, they will say, they still line up, want to vote for Atiku and Obi. I want a budget. Let an Israeli woman go and marry an Arab man, and they have a child. That child can never amount to anything in Israel. There's this argument, they say, when I was watching this guy that was pushing for these Midwest states, Godwin something. He said in that interview, he said that he's married to an Igbo woman. He's an Urobo guy. He said he's married to an Igbo woman. But he has lost his sense of reason. And he said, and I quote him, Igbo people are the only one who contributed to Nigeria. That is what he said. And they asked him, how? He said that it is only the Igbo people who will leave Igbo land to set up business in Kano, to set up business in Maiduguri, to set up business in Lagos, to set up business in Port Harcourt. That is how Igbo are the only one that contributed to Nigeria, according to this idiot. So for that reason, he claimed that the Igbo people are the only one who contributed the most to Nigeria. But if you ask them, simple question, why would someone leave his own space to set up business in another space? That's a fundamental question. The guy was saying, Igbo people are the only people that contributed to Nigeria. And the answer, the interviewer was very shocked. And this is a very common shit thing that they say. Stupid Urobo people. And majority of idiots, Igbo. But I do like Urobo, but sometimes, and this guy, I'm going to speak about him, the deputy Senate president, I don't like some of their attitude. These are minority. Urobo people are 2 million, when Yoruba is 60 million. And they want to be telling us how to do things. Minority, we're coming back to that. But that's fake. To say that the Igbo people are the only people who contributed the most to Nigeria because they set up business in Kano, set up business in Maiduguri, set up business in Port Harcourt, set up business in Lagos. You ask yourself simple questions. Why will anybody leave his own space to go and set up business in another space? Look, Igbo don't have where they produce this glass cup in Igbo land, but they want to come and set up a glass cup industry in Lagos. No, be real. Does that make sense? They don't have industries in Igbo land where they are producing pen. They want to go and set up industry in Kano where they are producing pen. Does that make common sense? It doesn't. It is definitely not to provide help, but to make profit. You don't go and set up business to provide help. If there is no industry producing pen in Igbo land, why will any Igbo go and set up such an industry in Kano? He doesn't make it. The question you should ask yourself is this. Why? Another second one is this. Now, I've answered this and I hope you get it. Why would somebody leave his own space to go and set up business in another space? It is to make profit. Right? That is the answer. The question one is this. Why is it that the Igbo cannot set up business in Igbo land and make profit therein? Because what the impression we have is that these guys are everywhere in Nigeria. Why is it that they cannot stay in Igbo land to sell spare parts so that Yoruba can come and patronize them? And we will have some dealers, some middlemen. Middlemen will go to Igbo land, buy the spare parts, take it to Yoruba land, sell it to Yoruba men, for Yoruba men to be selling it in Yoruba land. Why must Igbo leave their space to come and do it? I told you it's to make profit. Why is it that they cannot make profit in their own space? So if they set up the business in Igbo land, why is it that they cannot make profit? It is because Igbo land is not sustainable for various reasons, which includes poverty, lack of human capital, political instability, and economic instability. I will not want to explain more about that. I think you get it. Now, the third question is this. When they move out, they set up business in the new space. How do they get capital? This is the third question you need to ask them. I keep asking myself, how do they get the capital that they cannot set up that same business in their own space? We know how they get the capital. They are not bringing the capital from their space. They don't borrow money from anywhere. They just go to Kano, go to Maduguri, come to Lagos, go to Port Harcourt to do crime. But the Kano people, the Maduguri people, and Port Harcourt people, they have stopped them. They come to do crime, they kill them. It is only in Yoruba land that we continue to allow them to come to our space to do crime, and we have refused to stop them. So the narration is very wrong that it is only the Igbo that contributed to Nigeria because they go to Kano to set up business. They go to Maiduguri to set up business. They come to Lagos to set up business. To come to Port Harcourt to set up business. Why is it that they cannot set up the same businesses in their own space? Why is it that they can't do it? If they have the money to leave their space to set up businesses in other people's space, why can't they use that money to make their space great? Folks, they don't have the money. They don't have the human capital. They don't have the means to set up business in Igbo land. They come to Yoruba land to look for a way to be progressive. And because everywhere is difficult, they go into crime. That's why you go to church, Yoruba. Olúwa Elédùmarè, ọlọ́jọ́ ìní Ọlọ́run ọba o, ṣàánú mi lọ́wọ́ àwọn amrọ̀bà, má má jẹ́ kí n rógun amrọ̀bì o, má jẹ́ káwọn amrọ̀bà wá bá mi nínú ilé o, Olúwa Elédùmarè ṣàánú mi o. Igbo are coming to Yoruba land and they are killing you. Àdúrà ẹ ò lè gbà. Tó bá fẹ́ kádúrà ẹ gbà, you tell your governors in Yoruba land to stop the mass migration of the Igbo. You go to church, Olúwa Elédùmarè, ọmọ mi ń ṣàìsàn. Jésù Ọlọ́run o, ẹ bá mi heal ọmọ yìí. Your fake pastor will be praying into water. Ṣàánú fún mi, ṣàánú fún mi. But your child has taken fake drug and is going to die. So the prayer will not work. So if you want your child to be healed, you tell your government in Yoruba land to regulate pharmaceutical sectors in Yoruba land, not to allow Igbo to dispense drugs. So you won't need Jesus Christ to say, oh, your child is sick. You go to church, you said you can't have jobs. Olúwa Elédùmarè ṣàánú mi. Ọba ògo ọmọ mi ti graduate, ó ti pẹ́ 4 years, ó ti graduate Jésù Olúwa ọba. Ọmọ yìí ní first class kò ní ṣe Ọlọ́run ṣàánú mi. You said to your governor, your prayer will not be answered. Because people are trooping into your space to compete for the same number of jobs with your children in Yoruba land. They have refused to stay in their own space. So your children will be out of job. You go to church and pray to God to give your child job. When Fulani control the military in Yoruba land, they control the police, they control the custom, they control the waterways, they control all the federal government jobs in Yoruba land. Your child is not going to get a job. It is not prayer. It's common sense. All these Pentecostal pastors are fooling you. They are fooling you. You go to church, you say, Olúwa Elédùmarè, mo ti pé 32 years mi rí ìyàwó. Olúwa Elédùmarè ṣàánú mi. Mo fẹ́ bímọ kí n tó pé 35. Ṣàánú mi, Ọlọ́run Elédùmarè ṣàánú mi. How do you want to get a husband when the Yoruba men can't find job? When Fulani have control all of the jobs? When Igbo armed robbers are everywhere killing Yoruba men? We're losing them to Igbo armed robbery attack. Your prayer would never be answered until you said to your governor, regulate the mass migration of the people coming into your space. Common sense. What you people term as spiritual problems are actually political, economic, and societal problems that need to be regulated by a simple policy. If we go back to regional government, Majority of the Yoruba women with no husband, you will have husband because these guys will be able to have jobs. And when a man has a job, there's dignity attached to it. He will be proud to get married. You pray to Jesus Christ till eternity, you won't get husband. Your child will be taking fake drug. You pray to Jesus Christ. You understand? You understand? When Igbo move out of their space, they tell you they are setting up businesses in Kano. Make your space great. Stop setting up businesses in Kano. If your businesses is legitimate and genuine, the people in Kano will come and purchase your goods and services from Igbo land and take it back to their space and serve to the people who want. You don't have to move out. You are moving out because Igbo land is not sustainable. You are moving out because there is political instability in Igbo land. You are moving out because there is economic instability in Igbo land. You are going to other people's spaces to commit crime. You use the proceeds of the crime to set up business. You are not bringing money from your whole space to do anybody a favor. You are actually damaging Yoruba land. You are actually destroying the fabric of our society. So Igbo have to be regulated in Yoruba land. If they continue to come to Yoruba land, believe you me, there is no amount of praying to Jesus Christ that will savage your life. You are going to be destroyed. You are going to be destroyed. I have a couple of things that I'm going to say, but we have 1 hour, 27 minutes right now. I will not be able to talk about Adeyinka for what he spoke about yesterday. But now let me say this. I'll say this to the Yoruba nation when we will have to switch some of these things that we do. And if I ask us this problem as Yoruba people, and because I don't do about Nigeria, I don't like the country. It's a horrible country. And I ask you these questions, and I hope our people at home will answer. And you help me to you guys help me to write the question down. I'm actually more on Facebook today. Madam Folashade, thank you so much. I'm just seeing you, comrade. Allowing you too. Thank you so much. If I ask these simple questions, you see, a number of Yoruba liberals will never get it. What is our problem in Nigeria? We have two major problems. Two major problems. Now, I've wrote this about because some young guys who supported Shore, they approached me and said they like me. Really? Said, okay, fine. They said, Shore would like us to work together. I would say, great. And I went there because I don't pretend. I said, one, I don't like Shore. Yeah, in 2015, when I was beaten up by the police here in England, Shore sheets paper, fucking propaganda paper, Sahara reporter, through Kadi Ogundamisi, a horrible guy. They wrote 2 articles against me saying that I have stabbed somebody, saying that I have raped somebody. It was a fake. They are fake news. I said, I don't like them. They're just fake guys. They just do shit things. And they said, they like me. They've watched my video. Yeah, you have to be conservative. If you support Shore, you are pro-one Nigeria. Because Shore is pro-one Nigeria. I'm not pro-one Nigeria. I'm anti-one Nigeria. I'm pro-Yoruba. So I asked them one simple question. And they all failed woefully. I said, what is Nigerian problem? They've been following Shore for donkey years now. Because all they do is Aluta. Oh, Aluta and universities. We are out of universities now. Why are you still doing Aluta? That's what they do. One simple question. You know the answer. And they said that the old people are ruling us. Old people are ruling us. It's a common shit answer. People who cannot think. I've been saying to Yoruba nation, one problem for us to solve is that we should always appoint brilliant minds as political leaders, as elected politicians. brilliant mind. White people don't waste great mind. They use them to make their space great. Because Showore can talk shit all about it. It's not a brilliant mind. That is it. So this is what I said to them. They said, oh, the old people are ruling us. And I said to them, look, Yaya Bello became a governor at the age of 40. What exactly is that guy? What is his performance? Yaya Bello of Kogi. Ayim Pius Ayim became a Senate president at the age of 39. It is Showore guys that are approaching us, telling us that, oh, it is old people ruling us. Dimeji Bankole, he was elected into the House of Representatives at the age of 34. He became the Speaker of House of Representatives at the age of 38. Orji Uzokalu, Igbo, they have never condemned that guy for 1 minute. He was the one ruling them in Abia State or thereabouts. Orji Uzokalu, a fucking common criminal. You know, Orji Uzokalu murders is Obasanjo's girlfriend. Orji Uzokalu became governor at the age of 39. Donald Duke, he was elected governor at the age of 38. I'm speaking about this because of the Showore guys that are disturbing me. All of these people that I've mentioned their name, do they do anything extraordinary? Do they perform any wonder? Do they govern with dignity? No. They did nothing exceptional. So our problem is not the age of the candidates. Those who destroy Nigeria were youths, like you and I. The people who destroyed regional government and instituted unitary system were youths. The first actor of the 1966 coup was Chukwuma Eziogu. He was only 29 years old. The greatest beneficiary of that coup plot was another Igbo, Aguiyi Ironsi. He was only 42 years old. People who destroyed Nigeria were youths. Yakubu Gowon is the Gowon that is you all see today. When he took over power after the killing of Aguiyi Ironsi, Yakubu Gowon was only 32 years. The people who destroyed Nigeria were young minds. They were horrible. They did nothing exceptional. So the Showore people that are coming to me and say, we need young minds to rule us. Shouting not too young to rule. You are actually stupid people with no sense of history. Young people destroy the regional government. Showore has never advocated for regional government. He's pro-one Nigeria. A minority job want to rule over Yoruba as president. I'm going to talk about that now. So, folks, our problem is not age. Orji Uzokalu, like I said to you, was 39 years old. Dimeji Bankole was 38 years old as speaker. Donald Duke was 38 years old when he became governor. Yaya Bello became governor at the age of 40. So don't tell us that people who are ruling us are too old. Our problem is not age. I lectured those guys from Showore's gang. And I didn't bring them into YYF because I don't like Libra. I said to them point blank, you will never join YYF. We don't want everybody. We want conservatives. So when we are having our meeting, we meet every day. We do the same thing. We think the same way. So we bring Libra into our groups. We are going to be saying about Igbo. Libra will be saying about something else. We will never achieve our aim. Look at the beautiful things that we have been doing. Gradually. We're conservative. We only incorporate conservative mind into our movements. And we support APC. We don't pretend about it. I said to those guys that age is not the problem. Our problem is not religion. Our problem is not tribalism, because the tribalism they use is derogatory anyway. They call people like us tribalists. I'm a nationalist. I like Punch for giving me that, for correcting that, because Cable reported me as a Yoruba supremacist. Punch report changed it. Punch said that I am not a Yoruba supremacist, I'm a Yoruba nationalist. That's why I love Punch. And I read Punch since I've been 15 years old. So our problem is not tribalism. We have two problems that I said to you. Folks, those guys, sure, guys, they don't know the problem of Nigeria. Number one problem of Nigeria is that Nigeria is the only country on this planet Earth where minority rule over majority. There is no country anywhere else where minority is the one presiding over majority. No. Nigeria is the only country. It's our number one problem. Fulani are minority ruling over majority Yoruba. The Yoruba population is 60 million. When we supply this, when I made this statement, look, I have source for this information. My source is from a German website, and we have refused to share that information to you at the moment. Because when we share the information of the CIA World Fact Book, stupid Nigerian Population Census Commission approached the CIA World Fact Book to change the data. Yoruba has the majority population. Another German firm has conducted a research. We are not going to share you this link. It says that Yoruba is 60 million. We are the majority. Hausa and Fulani, they are 49.4 million. Fulani are not up to 10 million. Igbo people are 40 million. And then you see, you know, Igbo people are illiterate. Yeah, because they don't go to school. They would rather go and learn how to sell Google and Epa. When we say Yoruba 60 million, it is the population of the people living in Yoruba land. Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba, and all of that, because you are trooping into our space. We don't trooping into your space. Yeah, you all want to come and die in Yoruba land. That's why we have the huge population, and it is to our credit. Ijaw people, they are 14 million. Efik Ibibio, 14.1 million. Bagi people, 8 million. Kanori people, 7.4 million. Edo Urobo people, 7 million. Because I'm going to be making reference to the Deputy Senate President. Now, let me say this. Edo is 5 million. Urobo is 2 million. Yoruba is 60 million. I'm going to come to that. Because our number one problem is minority ruling in Nigeria. There is no country that has happened. Thief people, they are 5.6 million. Nupe people, 4.5 million. Idoma people, 4.2 million. Egbira and Igala people, 3.5 million. Bariba and Busawa people, 3.4 million. Birom and Angas people, 2.2 million. And Adamawa people, 1.5 million. Adamawa people included Junkun, Mumuye, Jemba, and the rest of them. Now, these are the 15 nations that made up the union called Nigeria. So Yoruba is the majority. If you look at the population from Efik Ibibio, Bagi, Kanuri, Edo Urobo, Tiv, Nupe, Idoma, Ebira, and Igala, Bariba and Busawa people, Birom and Anga people, and Adamawa people. If you had all of their population together, 11 different nations, you had their population together, they are equivalent to Yoruba 60 million. Look how powerful we are as Yoruba people. If you had the population of Igbo and Ijaw together, it will come to 54 million when Yoruba is 60 million. Look at how powerful you are, Yoruba. Fulani and Hausa, they are 49.4 million. Aside the fact that Yoruba has the majority in Nigeria, Yoruba is the economic backbone of Nigeria. The Lagos GDP alone is 40%. That of Ogun is 20%. Two Yoruba states, 60% GDP. If you had the remaining Yoruba state, Yoruba has 80% of the gross domestic product of Nigeria. That is the size of the Nigerian economy. Yoruba, you are contributing 80% of Nigeria GDP. You are the brain, the engine of Nigeria. You take Yoruba land out of Nigeria, will become the second largest economy in Africa. That is the power. Aside that, we contribute 49% of the national revenue of the federal government, which is coming from 7 major sources: NNPC, custom, NIMASA, MPA, CBN, Federal Inland Revenue, and the Nigeria Liquefied Natural Gas. We Yoruba contributing 49% of every 100 naira spent by the federal government of Nigeria. Now, you cannot rule in such a society. That's why Nigeria is the way it is. In the United States, the white people are the majority, which is 73%. They produce the president, they produce the vice president, they control the Congress, they control the Senate, they control the judiciary, they control everything in America, white people. They control black. They don't zone anything with black. They don't share power with black people. They are the majority. In every society, majority rules, but minority rights are respected. That is the reason why in America, the Native Americans, even though they are 0.9%, they are allowed to go hunting, but white America are not, black America are not. Because why? Because America is their homeland, the Native America. That is what they desire to do. It is part of their culture to hunt. So the Constitution guarantees them that right. Minority rights are always protected. Police in America, they cannot go to Native Americans' house. They cannot. This is not about stand your ground policy. Police cannot, because it is part of their culture. So the Constitution respects it, even though their minority is 0.9% of the population. So minority do not rule, but their rights are always respected. If you look to the United Kingdom, it is this country that created Nigeria. God Almighty did not create Nigeria. Don't mind these stupid Pentecostal pastors. They will say to you that it is God that created Nigeria. Nigeria was created by white people in UK. Yet we did not create their own country. In the United Kingdom, they have 4 nations. England, their population is 84%. Scotland, they have 8.4% of the population. Wales have 4.7%. And Northern Ireland, 2.8%. It is English that are ruling. I live here, so I know. English will be the prime minister. English is the queen. English control the House of Commons. English control the House of Lords. English control the Ministry of Justice. English control everything. They don't share power with Scottish. They don't share power with Scottish. Everywhere in the world, majority rules, but minority rights are always respected. The number one problem of Nigeria is that minority Fulani are the one ruling you. You will never have peace. You will always be fighting. You will never have development. So Showore guys, they have no fucking common sense. We don't even want you in YY, believe you me. It's a policy that we are choosing. We just want conservative. You have to think Yoruba first. There is no Modaru. If you cannot think Yoruba first, why should we bring you in and you bring us down? You continue to have negative energy? No, because we are reading. We read a lot. Don't think that we don't want to go to pub. We don't want to go to club. We don't want to run after women. We have time for all of this. But majority of our time we spend to articulate how we are going to grow the economy of Yoruba land, how we're going to make our space great so that our descendants, who are our children, will be proud of us. The number one problem of Nigeria is minority ruling over majority. Look, this is why I said to you, Fulani are minority. They are not up to 10 million population. Yoruba is 60 million. Fulani is the president of Nigeria. It is like African American being president of the United States. It is like Scottish being prime minister of the United Kingdom. Do you know? Try to think about it. Minority black people ruling in America, they will mess up the whites. Minority Scottish ruling over English in UK, they will mess up that country. Who is the Senate president? Minority Kanuri. Yeah. Kanuri has 7.4 million of the population, when Yoruba is 60 million. Who is the deputy Senate president? Minority Urobo. Urobo man is the deputy Senate president. Urobo are just 2 million population. Why do you zone things in Nigeria? If you cannot allow the majority Yoruba to rule, let us break up the country. This is like in America, they said, okay, President Trump, because you are white, your vice president will be black. And they now said, okay, the Native American will be in charge of Congress. Does that make common sense? It's like saying, oh, in UK, Boris Johnson, because you are white, the Speaker of the House of Commons will be Scottish. And the Speaker of the House of Lords will be Welsh. No, go there. The leader of the House of Lords is English. The Speaker of the House of Commons is English. Boris Johnson is English. In a society, majority rule, minority rights are respected. Urobo are not supposed to be deputy Senate president. Kanuri cannot be Senate president. You zone everything in Nigeria. You share things because you are corrupt, because you want to suppress the Yoruba people. So that is one thing I'm saying to you. From 2023, Yoruba is ruling Nigeria. We are not sharing political posts. How can Urobo 2 million be this deputy Senate president? How can Kanuri with 7 million, 7.4 million be the Senate president when Yoruba is 60 million? Can that nonsense happen in America to white people? How can Fulani with 10 million population be the president of Nigeria? Number one problem of Nigeria is minority ruling. That country will never be great. You continue to mess up and kill yourself and fight and fight and fight. Imagine if Yoruba is the president. You have 60 million population. It's going to give you a return to regional government, because that is what the Yoruba nation wants. The white in America, they are the majority. They desire federalism. That is why America is a federal state. The English is the majority. They desire the system they are practicing in England, in UK today. You put a Yoruba as the president of Nigeria, it's going to give you regional government, because that is what the majority Yoruba want. But Fulani minority, they don't want regional government. Igbo don't want regional government. That was why I disagree with this guy, Omo Agege, who is the deputy Senate president, saying that we are going to adopt the 36 states as the federating unit. It's crazy. A 2 million man, Urobo people are 2 million. The Yoruba 60 million are saying we don't want this 36 states. We want regions. Yoruba region, Igbo region, Hausa region, Kanuri region, Edo Urobo region, Bagi region, Tif region. This is what we want. But Omo Agege is saying nonsense in an interview, saying that we must adopt the 36 state structure. A man with 2 million population, telling me with 60 million population, you would dictate to me. Minority are ruling you. That is the number one problem of Nigeria. There is no country. Go to Ghana. Go to all the country. Show us where minority is the leader of such a nation. You will never be great. So that's why we're going to kill ourselves, because my generation can no longer accept this. You see, to the Yoruba people who are Libra, crazy guys. When a white American police shot and killed an African American, Yoruba Libra, they will be supporting that African American, saying what the white are doing is wrong. That's what they will be saying. Saying that is bad. But the reality is this: white in America, they are majority. Majority can do anything, but they will always protect the right of the minority. But in Nigeria, the Fulani are minority, but they will kill, Fulani police will kill a Yoruba citizen. Yoruba are majority, but the Yoruba Libra will not say anything about that. They will keep quiet. How can minority be policing Yoruba land? You see that? Is that a stupidity? Minority people ruling. One sec. Yeah, I can get that. But let's continue. Everything seems to be fine. Guys, I'm being told that I'm not drinking water. You know, Yoruba women are falling in love with us now because we're fighting for them. You understand? So you see, that is the attitude of the Yoruba crazy Libras. They don't like people who have white skin. So they said to you, oh, it is wrong for white police officer to shoot and kill an African American. Whites are majority in America. Black people in America are minority. So you expect such a thing to happen, but not every other time. But come back to Nigeria. Minority Fulani are the one policing Yoruba. So they shot and killed several Yoruba people, including my late elder brothers. But you see the Yoruba Libra going against that? No, they keep their mouth shut. They are horrible people. The number one problem of Nigeria is minority ruling over majority. War is coming to that country. There's nothing the English can do. Believe you me, there's nothing the English can do. Now you know number one problem of Nigeria. Sure as boys don't know this. They said, oh, old people ruling us. Look at the way I interjected everything. I brought in the younger people that are ruling us now, the younger people who destroy Nigeria, and I introduced the questions to them, which they fail woefully. The only thing they just do is to smoke Igbo, and then they just go onto the streets protesting, fighting. My mother was carrying placard over June 12th struggle. Fulani will come with hammer, tank, gun, spray everybody. So my generation should now adopt the stupidity of my parent generation and started carrying placard. No, we're going to do it with weapons so that we can face these people. The second problem of Nigeria, you see, you know this, conservative know this, it is the political system that we are practicing. Nigeria is a multi-ethnic society. In a multi-ethnic society, you do not use unitary system because all of you do not have the same language. You do not have the same culture. You do not have the same tradition. You do not have the same norms and value system. You practice federalism or regional government. It is the same thing. It's just interchangeable. So the political system we are practicing in Nigeria is the second and final problem of this country called Nigeria. In the United States of America, nine people establish the United States of America. Nine people. English, French, the Germans, the Spanish, the Italian, the Belgian, I think the Portuguese, 7, not 9. The Portuguese. They left their respective countries in Europe because they antagonized the Roman Empire, because they don't want to be Catholic, because they don't like kings ruling over them. They were being persecuted. They ran away to America, took the land from the natives, and said to themselves, we are going to practice federalism, simply meaning that you Germans, this is your state, you control everything. You French, this is your state, you control everything. You English, this is your state, you control everything. You Spanish, you Portuguese. That was how they decided. So in America today, you look at a state like California, they control their own police. They control their own military. They control their own justice system. They have courts from the lowest court to the Supreme Court. They control their own taxes. They control everything. They have senates in the states in America. Every state in America is a nation on its own. So what do they agree on? Each state will contribute a percentage of its revenue to the federal government of America. because they were different people who left their different homeland. They agreed to federalism. If you look at the United Kingdom today, 4 people came together to establish what you and I call the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland. In 1535, the English met with the Welsh and said, let us become one. The Welsh said, give me some time, let me think about it. By 1545, the Welsh went back to the English and said, it's a good idea. So the English and the Welsh merged together. Then in 1701, the English and the Welsh approached the Scottish and said, come and join our union. We're doing well. It will help you. The Scottish said, give us some time. We'll think about it. By 1706, the Scottish joined the union. Then the Irish saw the beautiful union and said, I would like to join you guys. And in 1801, the Irish joined. That was how they became the Great Britain, the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland. But something happened. In 1922, the Irish said, no, I am not enjoying this anymore. And they opted out. So they became what you and I know today as the Republic of Ireland. In the United Kingdom, they are practicing regional government. The Scottish have their own parliament. They have their own football team. They have their own judiciary. They have their own police. They have their own military. They even have their own currency design. The same thing in Wales. The same thing in England. The same thing in Northern Ireland. Every one of them, they have their respective governments. But the horrible evil and the Fulani destroyed that beautiful system that we had in Nigeria. They destroyed regional government and said that because we all have black skin, we are one and the same. Yet I speak Yoruba, the horrible Igbo, they speak Igbo. I don't even hear it. The other one speaks Hausa. The other one speaks Kanuri. The other one speaks Ijaw. And you say because we are black people, we are one and the same. We are crazy people. Seven white European countries left their respective country to the United States of America. They created a beautiful system called the United. That is people coming together to agree. The UK called their own the United. That means they agreed. We in Nigeria, between 1957 and 1959, we agreed to parliamentary system based on regional government. Horrible Igbo animals, people who hit human beings. They came 6 years later and destroyed everything. And Fulani went to the English and said that help us to kill this unity system. The English establishment are horrible. Very cunning people. Why will you continue to support Fulani who are suppressing and subjugating other people? And you said that your land is the land of the free. America